Welcome back. ChannelsTV.com has more information for you. And on YouTube.com/channelsweb, you can watch our videos. You can also see us on your mobile device via your browser or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows devices from their respective stores. Now, besides giving you access to news updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app have an eyewitness feature that you can also use to share pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. Now, late last week, some residents of Lagos State woke up to flooded streets, especially on the mainland axis of Lagos. There you go. The pictures show you Ketu, Bariga, Ojota, and other areas after heavy rainfall that lasted for several hours. The flooding, according to the residents, was as a result of blocked drainage systems, which had a lot of plastic waste. It's one of the first signs of the prediction by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency's 2018 seasonal rainfall prediction that some cities will be affected severely by flooding. According to NIMET in its 2018 SRP unveiled in Abuja, the country will experience earlier than normal rainfall and pockets of dry spells in some other locations. And joining us now on the program to discuss this is a professor of geography from the University of Lagos, Professor Alabi Shoneye. You're welcome to News Across Nigeria.
Good afternoon.
It's a very good thing that NIMET gave this warning, and just as predicted, it's begun to happen. Rainfall earlier than previous years, previous decades. Firstly, how much of this is as a result of problems associated with global warming and changing weather patterns?
Thank you very much. When you say the globe is warming up, we are the ones warming it up. Global warming is an issue, but the impact are also felt towards this part of the world now because we have a very hot weather throughout the year. But what is important is that our own habit also is actually contributing a lot to this crisis we are having of flooding. It's now becoming every rainy season an issue. So global warming as an issue is there, but the contribution is still very, very minimal.
We're not talking about the contribution of men in this part, blame that is on the part of men. The flooding is not just because we're getting a lot of rain, it's because we don't have a lot of drainages and the plans of the cities leave a lot to be desired.
Yes. Well, the warming itself is caused by man. When the rains come, the rains are meant to, the runoffs, the waters are supposed to follow their natural path and then empty into the lagoon, into the sea, into the water bodies. But we try to cheat nature. We go to dam the natural path. We put our wastes of different types here and there without having regards to nature itself. So we are propelling what we have already started with global warming. And that is why we are having it so rampant now.
You're a professor of geography. What are your primary concerns? And is it going to get worse before it gets better?
Of course, it's going to get worse. You expect a drastic rise. Then the mitigations coming here and there. Every stakeholders will now see the reason why they should be responsible. And with that, they will be able to now start taking steps that will bring down the impact. But initially, you expect it. And for this year, the rains are just coming in. We expect a very serious situation towards the end of July, when we have the peak of the first, the rainy season, particularly towards the south. Towards the north, they will be having it around August, thereabouts. But after July, we should also expect something around September, November, October, November. But good, NIMET has told us that 35 states of the Federation should be warming up. If you look at the list of these 35 states, they are the ones that have, either they have the major rivers, which have been created into the River Basin Development Authority. Unfortunately, the Upper Benue River Basin Authority, under which Makurdi Township lies, is having this serious problem because The development in the town itself is actually moving towards, rather than moving out, is moving towards the river banks. The other challenge we probably are having is that of those that are by the shoreline. Beyond the rivers, the sea level rise will always bring backswash, and where you have the water coming from inland, fighting the tidal movement coming from the water from the sea, then you expect a kind of friction. It will take the water a bit of time for everything to settle down. Then you have enough to go back into the sea through the canals and so on and so forth.
How effective do you think these measures being taken by the federal government will be? Take, for instance, the Benue State Canalization Project and other canals and banks, waterways being built by the federal government in some states. Is it enough?
Canalization is just one of the steps. But when we canalize, when we dredge the rivers, dredge canals, we should also think of maintenance dredging. Because definitely the silts, the sands, they will still find their ways back into the river. With more rains, all those deposits that are taken away will still be washed back. But we need to maintain the dredging, and we need to be cautious of the sand filling. As we are dredging somewhere, mind you, some others are also sand filling as some other parts of the same canal or the same river system. So it's a function of not only dredging, not only maintaining, but also I wonder when I pass through some streets, for instance, they hardly get gutters, what we call gutters, which are canals in front of their houses. In fact, some communities go to the extent of you being asked to create gutters in front of your own house, while I create mine, while your neighbor creates his. But out of 4 or 5, you see that maybe only 1 or 2 will comply for many reasons, economic, social, and some social-political factors. So we need the canalization to be actually centralized, and everybody should be living up to on board.
And because it's so capital intensive, the federal government has to step in. Whose responsibility is it?
It's everybody's responsibility. The capital, the serious canalization are beyond what the households can take care of. But there are some other minor links, channels. For instance, the water that drops from my roof will not go into these canals directly. It will have to pass through the gutter that I've created. It will pass through what the local government or the state has also created, and then it will eventually end into the river before it now gets into the sea. So it's everybody that is involved. And to a large extent, the development partners, World Bank, UNEP, and many of them, they have one time or the other come up to actually support communities directly or even support the government at various levels.
Now, you mentioned July as being a flashpoint for the flooding in the southwest. What are your fears or the dangers if proper steps are not taken for coastal states like Lagos and in the south-south?
We just pray that steps are taken. The fears are more than can be imagined.
What's the worst that could happen?
The worst is where we cannot have tsunami because we are told that we have a kind of stable block, the African continent. But the worst scenario is that we will have not only loss of properties, but we also have loss of lives. Properties running into trillions and lives running into numbers.
We hope that the government does something as it is trying to do in certain cases. Thank you so much, Professor Alabi Shoneye of the Geography Department, University of Lagos, on News Across Nigeria. You are with us on the program. When we come back, waste management in Enugu State. Stay with us.